All right, welcome back to Timberborn, and today we are going to try really, really hard to not die. Now, in our last episode, we unfortunately suffered starvation due to bad tide. It wiped out all our crops. And while we survived the bad tide itself, we couldn't get food up and running fast enough in order to survive after, because it had killed off all of the wild berry bushes, and we used our food supplies up getting through it. So this time we are going to be doing things a little different. We are going to have some happy beavers at the end of the day. All right, once more into breach. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and pause and take stock of our situation. Looks like we have a river flowing this way. Yep, comes down here, mixes up with some bad water, and then flows off the map. The bad water is coming from up here in this corner. Looks like there's plenty of metal scraps over here, as well as over there. Some more bad water. That is flowing all the way up here. So here's some more metal scraps. These ones are quite close to home, so these will probably be our first ones. Maybe these ones up here. And then good water, we've got a small source over here that we might be able to do something with. And then a source up here, and this is the source of our major river. Okay, so this is half the source of our major river, and another one up here. All right, now let's think about how we're going to survive droughts and bad tides. Our first few droughts, we need to have a few sort of pillars upon which we can build a civilization. The first one is going to be setting up a dam early, probably somewhere over in this region that will block and preserve water for the early droughts. Looks like we can also clear this blockage and create a pool there. That might be a good place for setting up some water pumps. Those could be a little closer to home, and even during a bad tide, if we created a floodgate there, we could create leave a small pool of bad water or of clean water that would help us survive an early bad tide if we don't have a more permanent solution in place. I think using floodgates to redistribute the water is going to be essential for us to survive. And it looks like there are a couple of channels that might be useful to us. So this is one of our main water suppliers and has this channel right here. So if we would only need to build a 2-high floodgate here or dam, and then unblock that rubble, and that would give an alternate channel there. So if we did a row of floodgates on this side and a row of floodgates on that side, we could let water flow down, and that would give us an easy way to keep that half of the river clean. Now, unfortunately, that won't help with this half of the river, which has a similar channel, it looks like right here, that comes down this way, fill this area, and then flow over here and down and around this way, and then off the map there. So a similar channel. This one is, it looks like 3 or 4 tiles deep, so that would be a much larger project, but something we could certainly do, and something to keep in mind there. So then the problem is that those are quite far away. Those are going to be huge construction tasks just by virtue of them being clearly on the other side of a huge map. I almost wonder if a smaller map might be easier, but this is the one we've chosen. This is the one we're going to play. So let's go ahead and get started. And again, I think our first task is going to be to gather up all of this wood. Okay, it looks like we have some stairs here, so this wood is also available to us early on. Let's go ahead and select our lumberjack's flag. Doesn't look... Okay, so this one has stairs down to this platform. This platform does not have stairs down. Oh, so that is... Okay, so we can get all the way up here, but it's a long way around, and that's just a few birch trees. I don't think that's really going to be a high priority for us. There is some oak there, so if we can get some planks and build some stairs, we could get up to that oak, and that could be useful. A little bit of oak across the way here, and more across that river, so we could build a bridge across there. And then a whole bunch of pine back here. Doesn't look like there's any more naturally occurring stairs nearby, though. And that's okay. We don't strictly need them. Looks like we could even go around to those oak trees if we need them as well. So we've got quite a lot that we can work with. A whole bunch of pine back here that we could get to if we needed it. And So yeah, let's go ahead and start with the stuff that is closest to home. We want to make sure that we are getting all of these trees, or at least have the full range. And then we can also set some up over there. Let's set up paths. And then we are also going to want a water pump. And I actually really like the idea of having the water pump draw from this little side reservoir there, because that gives us, like I said, the ability to block off and preserve water there quite easily. Go ahead and add another beaver to this. I think we can go ahead and actually do a third lumberjack flag right out of the gate, and then have start our log pile straight away as well. I think if we do that, that should give our beavers plenty to do and let us really focus on building and construction. And I wonder if we could do something like, if we could make our way up here, if we can manage to get up here and then transport water. Now, the issue with transporting water is that it evaporates when it's in the overworld, but not in tanks. So if for us to do that and have it be sustainable, I think we're going to need just a huge amount of water storage. So I think getting industry up and setting up medium tanks is going to be a fairly substantial priority for us as well. All right, let's go ahead and come over here and see about getting this dam built. Now, we want to do this as easily as possible, but I think we also want to get across the river. So I think we're going to go ahead, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, only 7. And we'll go ahead and run a path across there as well. Over here, and we can set up another lumberjack flag on that side. Now, of course, we're going to need some food, so we can set up a berry bush. Now, where? So if we set it up over here, it doesn't quite reach the berries on that side. I think that'll work. And then let's go ahead and run a path out to these stairs so that we know where it is when we want to go up there. Okay, so that's berry bushes, food, and early lumber sorted. Let's go ahead and speed along the early construction here. So we need to start growing some food. Although it really is important, I think, for us to get this dam up. If we can get this dam up, then we have a lot more time and flexibility with food. Go ahead and lengthen our workday just to make sure that we are well situated. Hopefully we don't get our first bad tide, or yep, all right, 3 days to our first drought. I think we'll be able to finish the dam, and that's really the time sensitive thing, because that means we'll have all this water preserved that we can continue to draw from and continue to use to water our crops, for example. All right, now we do need food warehouses. Let's go ahead and get those stored. We'll set one of these to berries and the other to carrots. The 20 times speed really spoils you, but I'm afraid that we're going to miss something. But that's how it goes. Then I think we want to start working on inventors here fairly soon too. So we'll set up 3 inventors and then put down our housing. I think we'll go 18 beavers. Let's go to 24 beavers. I think 24 should be okay. But I think at 24 we do need a second water pump. So we'll go ahead and get one of those built as well. Alright, we have enough science that we can unlock our forester. That's definitely the first building we're going to want. I want to kind of do this one a little further back so that hopefully these trees and bushes survive a little better. And then we'll do a whole bunch of pine. And a whole bunch of oak. That way we'll have pretty nice constant stuff going through. Now, of course, to build a forester, we need a lumber mill. And I think the next thing we're going to want is to go straight into that water storage. We already have the parts for it, so we'll need that. We do need gears, though. Fortunately, we can unlock. And it's just going to take a ton of work I think we also, now that I look at it, we're going to need wind power as soon as we can. Let's go ahead and set up a pile for planks. Of course, we can always pull logs from further away. You know, it's not ideal, but there's no reason we can't set up a forester back here and harvest all this pine. If we get a decent stockpile of planks going, we might be able to build a windmill without... that's 20 planks. I don't think we'll get to 20. Fortunately. Not reasonable. I think we're going to need a power wheel. Let's go ahead and set one of these up. Okay. Alright, perfect. And we have the science we need, so let's go ahead and unlock the windmill. Get that constructed. At this point we can destroy the power wheel. Destroy this road. I don't think we want this road here. Now we can unlock our windmill. Place it right there. We have all the logs and planks we need for it, which is great. So that will provide the power we need to start stockpiling some planks and start building some gears. All right, we are on track to survive. Let's go ahead and set up the first large storage tank. All right, so let's think about this. With 25 beavers, they're going to need 3 food a day. So that means 75 food per day total. It also means that in 4 days, we need, so 100 carrots just about provides for them. But we need to keep it irrigated and growing. If we run out, we won't have any sort of excess. So we need more carrots. Let's go ahead and plant more carrots so we can start getting ahead of that in whatever way we can. Just go nuts there with the carrots and expand the number of workers we have doing that. So just try and build up a good stockpile. We're also getting to the point where we are just about going to start seeing some bad tides. So let's go ahead and build a floodgate there. Oh my gosh, these droughts, they come fast, that's for sure. They don't give you even a second. You need to remember to, when we plant trees, to make sure that they are marked for cutting. Let's go ahead and make this floodgate, this floodgate a priority for construction. I wonder if it would make sense for us to have a second lumber mill there. And probably, if we're doing that, a second windmill as well. Looks like we have an injured beaver, so let's go ahead and set up a medical bed for them. We have the science we need. Alright, second windmill's up and running. Hopefully that means that we'll be able to produce planks faster. And we can go ahead and re-enable gears. Let's go ahead and set up a lumberjack flag far away. I think that will help. And how are we doing on logs? We actually have pretty good logs. So let's go ahead and unlock levees. And one of the things I had thought for was if we do levees up here like so. Let's build some paths over there to them. So if we can get these levees built, the reckoning was that if we can do something like, I think we may have to change our pathing structure here now that I look at it. We'll need stairs that go up like so. And then up here at the top, we can do a fluid dump like that. If we can do that, then this should irrigate this section, and we can put in crop fields. We can put in, another farmhouse over here, another forester over here, and then plant however many hundreds of carrots we need to survive up here. just like that. And we can build a forester up here. And we can plant trees. We might even be able, our current forester might even be able to start planting these. Yeah, some of those are in his range once it's all built. Like we have broken teeth. Let's go ahead and set up a teeth grindstone. All right, we have our first bad tide approaching. Let's prioritize getting that done, and then we'll pause those, and also prioritize getting this tank set up. If we can pump as much water into that as we can, and then right as the bad tide starts to come down, we'll close this gate so we can continue pumping water. And we may even just abandon the stuff down here. You know, like we're going to need to pump down here, pump water from down here rather. So all right, the bad tide has started. Keep the water flowing as much as we can. All right, here comes the corruption. So we'll raise our floodgate, and we are set. We have the water we have. All right, and with our bad tide underway, I think there's a few things we can do. I think we can go ahead and pause our gatherer's flag. The bad tide's going to kill all of the berry bushes, and our berries are full. We're not going to be harvesting anymore before they die. So I think that one's done for us. I wonder if we should build a dam over on this side. So I don't want to build it right now. But maybe we could. If we're clever with this, if we build this outright, could we build like levees out like that? And then I think if we have a beaver standing there, they can actually build both of these blocks. And then once we get the top one done, we'll have the path. We'll be able to build both of the next blocks. So that's something we could work on potentially during the drought or during the bad tide. And then we can set up a set of floodgates that will allow water to flow out. We probably want that in the corner though. So we might need some additional platforms in order to get over there. So that's something to think about. Or we could run a path over from this side. The other thing I want to do is start getting set up with some metal blocks. So let's go ahead and run a pathway over here and set this up. And then, yeah, we'll actually go ahead and take those platforms there and just run right across there and have the path there. And then we can go ahead. We've got close to 800 science now. So let's go ahead and go into some metalworking, set up a metalworkers or a scavenger's flag. And then that I believe gets stored in a pile. Yes, scrap metal. So the scavenger's flag will gather the scrap metal for us, stored in this pile. And then we can put that into a smelter, which can have a pile as well. However, the smelter is going to require power, so we can set it up with a windmill. So we can make that, because during the drought, or during, you know, a bad tide in particular, but during the drought, there's not going to be as much we can do. Oh, so we have some carrots there. Let's set this over to harvesting, because you never know when every single carrot is going to count, and I'm very hopeful that we are able to survive this. Oh my gosh, this is going to be tight. But we're going to keep going as though we are going to survive. And so once we get these two projects done, I think we're going to be ambitious. I think we're going to have a lot of downtime during this bad tide. And so let's go ahead and set up projects for the beavers to work on. And if they don't finish them, then that's how the log splits, you know? And that's okay. So up here is the other one that I was wanting to work on. And so I wonder if the best path is just to go straight up this hill. So let's actually start up here and plan out what we want to build and see what we can do. So we'll go in and start with levees. Now the idea here is that if we clear out these rocks and do that, then that will allow water to flow in that direction. However, in order to do that, we need to have the water actually elevated to that height. So we can set some levees there. And then what we want to do is have, I think, the sluice, which we can't quite afford yet, but we'll get there. The sluice is going to be the actual object that does that for us. We can go ahead and set some levees there, and then we'll have 3 sluices. Line of levees over here. These berries are just about to die. Let's go ahead and speed along. Let those berries die. Oh no, too many. Too many. Demolish. Okay, so we need some more science in order to get sluices. That's okay. What we can do though is start setting down paths to come up here. So if we're going to be building here, be coming from up here. Looks like we have some steps there. Wonder. There. Run these paths. Steps there. Go. Build this path up here. We are connected. And we'll build there, build there. And then we'll be able to put sluices in up here. And we can demonstrate this with floodgates, right? So if we have a line of floodgates there, then we'll raise the one for good water when the bad tide comes, and the bad tide will flow out to the left, and we'll raise the one for the bad tide when the good water comes. And I think get to 400 science, we can actually unlock and place these now. And even though we don't have the stuff for them just yet, so there we go. Right. So okay, so I wonder actually then, do we want to just do this further back? Because my thinking is we want to avoid any sort of catching areas, any place where the water gets stuck. And so if we build a sluice right here, this one, path first. So if we do it like this, then as soon as these ones close, these ones open, and any water that's sort of stuck in this corner just flows right out. If there were a levee here, then it could catch some, and I don't really know how precise these are, so we want these ones to be closed if it's contaminated, and these ones to be closed if it's clean, so if it's below. So that, yeah. So I think that's how we want that built, and then that's on top, of course, to make it so we can get around. All right, I think those are some grand enough works for our beavers for the time being. Let's see, did we ever? No, we did not ever mark these trees for cutting, so we'll go ahead and do that. We are starting, we've got good carrots coming in. We're out of water. All right, so we've got 300 water and 6 days to go at about 65 water a day. I think we're going to run out of water, but I think we're going to be just fine. I think we won't. This reservoir will remain intact. We'll have plenty of food. That's not going to be a concern. And our beavers will be thirsty, but they won't be dead. And that's a win. We may want to go ahead and add another water pump, though, because with these, one of the things I think we're going to run into is that we've only got sometimes 3 or 4 days between droughts. Like, as soon as this bad tide ends, we're going to get the warning for the next drought within a day or two. And so we may need more beavers pumping water to fill up our stockpiles up here. And on the note of that stockpile, we can actually do some math here. So we have 8 houses. That means we can house 24 beavers, which is about how many we have right now. Population keeps fluctuating, but let's call it 25 for easy math. Beavers drink 3 water a day, which means that 25 beavers take 75 water, and that means that one of these tanks full is going to provide water for 4 days. Now we know right now we've got 3 tanks. If these were all full, that's 4, 8, 12 days. But we also know that the longest drought or bad tide we could see is 30 days. And so we are going, if we divide 30 days by 4 days per tank, we're going to need at least 8 tanks in order to survive. So let's go ahead and set up a few more. Just so that we can, again, keep our beavers busy. We've got plenty of trees over here. We've got more growing. Can set up harvesting up here as well. I think we're going to be just fine on lumber. We're struggling to harvest it right now, but I think we'll get there pretty short order. Oh, and we're starting to get scrap metal. That is exciting. That's wonderful. And so, okay, so this is done down here. So let's go ahead and keep building. Oh, not a dam. We want a levee. I wonder, can we just build this whole thing out? And just see how it does. Let's actually prioritize this. So we'll change the priority on this to get this thing built. We'll just make that higher priority and build the whole thing out there. And then that way, actually, let's keep our smelter in this pile at a pretty high priority, as well as these. Because if we can get some metal blocks, we could actually do sluice gates over here as well. And sluice gates are interesting because they could replace the bottom levee blocks, right? So we could put sluice gates down here, and it would hold this water in reserve and only release it as needed. I don't think we want to do that here. I think we'll just stick with floodgates on this one. Right. This one will be for metal blocks, yeah. I think, yeah, so we've got 44 gears. We do want to keep some gears going, for now, at least. Oh, shoot, we need to start pumping water. We are getting thirsty. We did not open the gates fast enough. I can get this construction site pumping. Well, so many high priority jobs. But our beavers are getting the water they need slowly. And there's the drought. What are we doing? Okay, so you know what, we have enough gears. We'll pause gears for now. Keep working on some planks as we need to. Hopefully we can pump enough water to survive this drought. Oh man, that's going to be a real bummer if that kills us. I just forgot to do that. I mean, it is a drought, so we will actually have some water stored here, even if we don't get the dam built. But it would still be sad. Okay. These ones can be elevated priority, so we have logs. Yeah. Drought is here. It is a long one, but I think we're going to be okay because we can pump this water. So that is done. Starting to build up a stockpile of planks. I think we have enough science that we can go ahead and drop the priority on science right now so that our beavers can focus on more important jobs. I also don't necessarily think we need so many people on carrots. We have more carrots than we know what to do with. So I think just the upper farm with 2 workers should be enough for that. And go ahead and set up a lumberjack flag here at some point. Sure that our water pumps are higher priority. Get as much water pumped into the tanks as we can, because that water in the tanks won't evaporate, which is important to us. So they're good. I think it's just a matter of getting our trees growing, getting everything built. Let's we'll go ahead and just put dams in here for now. We can delete them and rebuild them later. That way we can go ahead and get this structure built and put in floodgates to manage that after a time. All right, there is the end of water. 521 to last us 6 days. Yeah, we're fine. So we have more water than we need. We are going to be just fine. There's no wind, so we don't have any new metal blocks coming in. It's okay. We're starting to build up there. Probably a good sign. Means we're getting some good planks. Fortunately, we are just out of lumber. This gatherer flag could be reactivated. And I actually wonder if it makes sense for us to cross this bridge over here. Across this river. Build another gatherer flag on this side, because these are all oak logs. And so those could potentially be very valuable. We prioritize these ones as the destination for our planks. And we have enough planks, so we should be just fine there. Prioritize construction on that as well. Right, we're up to 11 metal blocks. I think we need 30 to build the dam and reservoir we'd set up here. So I think that's going to be our goal. So we need trees 4 cut. One of the nice things about this is that if we set up a water pump over here, for example, that will have a depth of 2, so we'd be able to harvest water much longer into a drought. All right, here comes the water. Starting to get some more big trees grown locally, so that's good news for us too. Okay, so we're actually making a lot better progress up here than I expected. I wonder if we want to prioritize demolishing these so that we don't end up with, you know, a large pool of bad water up here. Droughts are they just keep coming. They never slow. Stop. Alright, we'll be alright. Alright, so with this drought coming in a few days, is it possible for us to do that? Make that top priority over all else? And maybe even expand the number of workers we have. Yeah. Pause the farmhouse. Don't need workers there right now. Everywhere else has the workers they need. Yeah, we're not going to get this thing built this time, but fortunately, we'll have more water in the tank this time. And we should be able to get this dam finished during this drought at least. These trees will help a lot in that. Plus we've got a ton of wood coming in up here. So that's, yeah, we're going to be fine on wood. We have just about all the metal blocks we need, at least for the construction projects we have planned. So I wonder if we want to pause these. Make sure that those beavers are available for work elsewhere. All right, let's see, how are we doing on the dam up here? So we've got the lower level of levees in. That's actually probably the most dangerous part of this. Okay. So if we get a bad tide, then this becomes really dangerous to work on. So, let's see, is this one is done. So now I think this has to be a priority. We have to get this thing finished before the end of our next one. Otherwise we are in grave danger. So that becomes priority above all else. Because otherwise this area will could potentially flood with bad water at the end of our next one. So we can go ahead and pause our smelter. We don't need you working there. All right, that's the end of the water. But we have over 1,000 water, nearly 1,000 water. Yeah, over 1,000 water. And 6 days. Yeah, we're fine. We are just fine. Keep the gear workshop paused for now, just to make sure we have all the planks we need for whatever we have up here. All right. This has worked out really well. I'm very pleased with this. So there was something else I'd noticed, the hauling post. I wonder if it would make sense for us to build one of these and have a couple of haulers. Their only job is to haul around stuff. And that, like, can they haul goods to build places, for example? Right, we are getting there. Down to just some levees. So it's just about hauling logs at this stage. Yeah, I think we're going to be fine. We should get this thing built. These sluices are already set. This one only needs to be a medium priority. These ones all need to be full priority. I think we'll be able to get this built before whatever comes after this drought. You know, because we'll have a few days at least of temperate weather. That one is done. We got just construction on this side and then 2 more over here. Comes the water. Should, yeah, spill through there. Prevent too much flooding, but not fully prevent flooding. Gosh, I hope this works. Because if it doesn't, we are going to have some egg on our face. All right. That should be done. Yeah, and they can go ahead and finish the last levee on that side, just for good measure. Oh, and that actually gets us up quite close to an underground ruin, so that's something we'll want to play with later. All right, so this is done. Our great works are finished. We will have to test these out at the beginning of our next bad tide. Let's go ahead and set these to water. They are about ready to be built. We can turn on our gear workshop. Keep that one going. This water as well, and this one. This one here should be good. And so now what I want to do is actually come through and destroy these buildings. That one and that one. And set up floodgates here. And we will also destroy this one once that middle one gets built. Because if those are floodgates, we can raise the water here, and with this water pump, we'll have an additional layer of depth for pumping clean water. All right, we have a bad tide approaching. This is going to be the moment of truth. This is going to be for all the marbles. All right, let's go ahead and push this one. Let's construct this floodgate. So with that, we should be able to raise up the water level here, and right before this bad tide starts, close this gate. Is that too high? 0.85 too high? 2.8. We definitely don't want any flooding back here. but fortunately we still doing great on water. We've probably got 1.2k days of water, so 18 approximately days of water plus whatever we can trap. So that'll work well for us. Right, bad tide is beginning. Let's close that gate. Let's head up here and watch. So what we want to see is as soon as this water turns red, these close and those open. Just like that. That is gorgeous. That is beautiful. Oh, that's so satisfying. That feels so good. It is a success. Oh, I'm so excited. I think we've finally done it. I think we finally solved the bad tides. Now, I mean, obviously, there's more work to be done, and this one's going to be an even bigger project. But I think we have sort of set the standard there. Oh, what happened? Oh, no. The floodgate got left open. Oh, I'm sure I closed that. I'm sure I closed it. Oh. It's okay. It's okay. It's only 8 days. We've got plenty of water. That, you know, that's a bummer. That's gonna stink. But we'll be able to start pumping out of here as soon as the bad tide is over. And this is going to be tricky because I don't know when this water is going to clear out. Fortunately, that just destroyed all of this stuff. Okay, that's okay. We'll be all right. Got our tanks built. We got plenty of water. We're going to be fine. All right, I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. I'd like to thank you guys for spending a little bit of time with me here in the world of Timberborn. I hope you have enjoyed this episode. Leave a like if you haven't, subscribe if you'd like to see more. My name is Dakoba, and I hope you have an epic day. I will see you soon.